Spring is my favorite season, so here are some of the books that I start to reach for as a fantasy reader when the weather warms up. I love reading high fantasy during the winter time, and I like transitioning to romance books in the summertime. So this is the period of time where I read a lot of cozy fantasy. At the very start of spring, I like to reach for something a little more on the fantasy side of things, something like Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, which is just lyrical, beautifully written. This is about a girl who is the herald of the gods, and she walks into the dreams of a mortal, and they form a connection. They fall in love, and they meet each other many years later on the battlefield. If I could describe the middle of spring in one phrase: cozy, fantasy, rom-coms. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love by India Holt, and you've probably heard me talk about this book a lot, but it's set in the 1800s, following ornithologists who are in a competition to catch this bird. But the catch is that the birds in this world are magical. These two rival professors are trudging through Europe trying to win this without falling for one another. This book is laugh out loud funny, and it's just so whimsical. I also recently read and loved Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher. This one is the story of a paladin, so a knight who is quite depressed, but he runs into an awkward perfumer in an alleyway. They make each other feel alive, and it's so fun because they're actually in their mid-30s, so this is more of like mature adults interacting, and I love that as opposed to like the typical stuff you see in a romantasy. And of course, the BookTok classic Assistant to the Villain. This is about a girl who becomes the assistant to the kingdom's most notorious villain, and it's a bundle of laughs. Everyone has mixed opinions on this book, but a novel love story by Ashley Poston. So Ashley writes magical realism, so it's a contemporary story with a hint of magic. I like to think of it as like throwing some fairy dust at an otherwise very ordinary story. So in this book, this girl travels to this mysterious town, but the town is straight out of her favorite book, My Dream. My Dream. So those are my spring book recommendations, and yes, they were all purple for some reason. Definitely my favorite season, both in terms of the weather and in terms of reading.